So I want to throw a big shout out to my friend Monica. I haven't grown garlic in a couple of years, and I didn't have any garlic seed stock. And I contacted her this fall, and she told me she would save me some garlic seed, or seed garlic, I should say. And she did. She saved me a bunch of red Russian, which, by the way, this was the most productive stuff that I did in the tests that I did back on the farm in, I think, 2018 or 2019. I did a garlic. Well, I grew a bunch of garlic, a bunch of different varieties. I did a bunch of testing and weighing and all that kind of stuff to determine what was most productive yield wise and that sort of thing. And red Russian, I think we had 4 or 5 times the amount of garlic out that we put in. So 4 or 5 times the weight that we planted. And that was the one that performed the best out of all of them. I did red Russian, German white, a Vietnamese garlic, an Italian garlic, and 1 or 2 others. And those didn't do so well. The German white did very well. I've always had good success with that. And the red Russian did even better than that. So I'm super excited to have some red Russian garlic here. I'll have to break these down into cloves and find a spot either on the farm or somewhere here to plant them. These will not be eaten. None of these will be eaten. And none of next year's crop probably will be eaten either. My goal is to rebuild my seed stock in garlic because I want a huge amount of seed stock. And it takes a couple of years to get that up. I think she said there were like 8 or 9 cloves in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm sorry, 8 bulbs. And each bulb looks like it has maybe 6 or 8 cloves ish in there. So that should give us about 50 garlic plants to start off. And if those survive and do well into next year, we'll have seed stock to start ramping up. And by year 3 or 4, I should be able to start actually producing and selling some garlic, or at least having some of my own to eat. Monica has been growing garlic for a long time. She's an expert at it, and she grows it in raised beds. And she does a great job of it. And I'm so thankful and grateful to have this still growing, still going, to have her share this seed stock with me. I plan to ramp it up. And then if she ever has trouble with her garlic, I'll be happy to share back with her. So big thank you, Monica. I'm super stoked. All right, so here's the next phase. They're all broken down into cloves. We still got the basal stems to remove and some of the chaff. Okay, here we are, all stripped down. I blew off most of the chaff. I got rid of the basal stems. I'm going to count these up, and then we'll know how many spaces we need and how much room we need. Because I don't have fencing established on the farm, and I'm concerned about animals just destroying this stuff, so I have to protect it on some level. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. I'm thinking probably some 1/4 inch mesh that I have, but we'll see how much space we actually need. Well, there we go. All stripped clean, split into cloves, and I counted cloves, and we have 49 cloves. Well, isn't that interesting? 49 square roots out at 7, so we can go a 7 by 7 planting block. 7 times 6 is 42, so we're going to fit in about a 42-inch by 42-inch block, which I think I can fence with that 1/4 inch mesh, which puts us in good shape for our first seed run for garlic for 2025. So then, of course, I double check my spacing from 2018. We roll across in the log chart here, and we see 6-inch spacing. Okay, cool. All right, so here we are. I've brought this bin out. I'm going to plant in this, and I picked up a bag of Coast of Maine potting soil mix yesterday. This stuff just keeps going up in price. It's $25 for a 2 cubic foot bag, which isn't horrible. I wouldn't want to do that on a big scale, but this is just a nice way to add a bunch of enriched soil in here to make sure that our garlic seed has good nutrients and available nutrition, organic matter, and biology, all available right from the very start. Because if you recall, in critical points of influence, the earliest influence you can have on a plant, animal, or human in its life cycle in a positive manner from an environmental, food, genetic standpoint, the better off that organism will be throughout its lifetime. So we're trying to give these the best start that we can. I know they were cared for under excellent care, under Monica's care, and I want to continue that care, and if I can, expand and improve that nutrition as we go forward. So I've decided on the concrete mixing tub that I had all the turmeric and ginger in over the summer. I used some old peat moss bales that I had, and then I used a bunch of foliar feeds, drenches, nutrients, and amendments to build the soil up over the summer. And that's why we see that turmeric and ginger doing so well before it went in and got transplanted out of here. But I'm concerned about squirrels and deer and all sorts of animal issues on the farm with such a small plot of garlic. So rather than risk that, I'm going to go into this, and this will act as a raised bed for now. In the spring, if I decide to put it out on the farm, once I feel it's safer, I can. If not, I can keep it right in this raised bed until middle of July or end of July, when the garlic should be ready for harvest. So hopefully this will get us a good start. Move, of course, is to get the potting soil on. Shouldn't be too hard. Got a knife in my pocket here somewhere. There we go. And part of me wants to save some of the soil for the grow lab, but we're not going to do that. We want to make sure that our garlic gets its best opportunity. So we're going to do it the whole block. We're going to blend that in on top. Nice rich soil blend on top to start in. Smooth that out a bit. A few dry spots here and there. I'll probably come back with a shovel and blend it a little bit, maybe not. And given that that's a little bit dry, I probably will come back and throw a little bit of water down on these as well, just to make sure they have adequate moisture for their startup. There we go, that filled the bin up pretty nicely. Now this bin has like a chamfer in it here. I'll grab the other camera here quick. So here we are from an end angle. This is actually a mixing bin for mixing concrete, a mixing tub for mixing concrete. And I'll just show you this angle from this angle. So we're losing about 10 inches on the end of the same depth. So I've gone ahead and marked that 10-inch inset. We're going to plant inside of that. I've done some basic math here to figure out where we're at, and it looks like we're going to end up with about 4-inch spacing between plants, which is a little tight, but that's okay. In the springtime, once they're rolling and we have less concern about animals disturbing them, we could actually plant out into a larger area, and we'll just see how they do. I'll keep my eye on them, make sure they don't get too crowded. And Chino and Phylicia are very curious what I'm doing with their nice little coats on, and probably looking for a carrot. So maybe when I'm done planting, I'll give them a carrot. So we're just going to keep this real simple. I got that measuring tape there as a general guide. You don't have to be too finicky about it. You just want to make sure that they each have space. Now planting garlic, you always put this butt end down and the pointy end up, right? So that would be the same. If you had multiple cloves together, you know, you'd have that clove stem sticking up out of the middle, and you end up with that basal root that I removed from our package here. So there we go. Pretty simple. You want to put them about 3 inches deep. I'm trying to go about 4-inch spacing to get these fairly evenly together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. There's a hard spot. It's kind of mostly just frozen still, so. And then we'll just shift over like 4 inches. Boom, here, and there, roughly. 6, and this is a catnip. That same catnip from Neil that I've kept in here. I'm just going to leave that in here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I actually have 2 rows left to try to fit in here, so I think. Ooh, how am I going to do that? These are spaced a little further apart. I think we're going to end up having to try and use the end of this, at least one end of this. Really wish I had more space at the farm prep for this sort of thing, but we just haven't evolved our soils or fencing or any of the working parts of that forward enough yet to support a garlic crop. One thing you will know about garlic, it does take a significant amount of nutrition to support a garlic crop. And I think I'm just going to run down between this row and offset diagonally. Try and squeeze these all in. And I'll probably end up pushing these out into a spot in the field in the spring when I can give them some more room and they're established. And we know the squirrels haven't destroyed them or whatever. Squirrels, raccoons, chipmunks, skunks. I just can't even describe all the problems I've had with animals this
Okay,
year.
so it might seem a little bit crazy for me to be talking about worrying about animals going after garlic. Usually animals are not a problem with garlic. They pretty much, that goes for deer, squirrels, raccoons, chipmunks. They pretty much all don't because it's just such a potent root and potent plant, phyto, full of potent plant phytolic compounds, I guess would be the way to say it. But the problem that I have here is we have a tremendous amount of squirrels here, and up at the farm we have tremendous animal pressure, and so anything that's available to eat, they'll go after. And I proved that because I transplanted those figs whose leaves were mostly off them, and they chewed those down to everything within an inch of the soil. And those are just fig plants. I had tried, like, I think I had like 10 garlic cloves 2 or 3 years ago and tried them at a spot out in the woods and ran into the same problem. The animals and the deer went after those during the cold winter months. It was a food source and they ate it. So that's why I'm going to such extreme precaution to prevent that because I only have a very small amount of seed and I want to amplify that seed, not lose it all. So that's why it's such extra caution until we can get a better established growing zone for it and reduce animal pressure
I'll stick this
on our
extra one out on
crops.
the edge. So there we go. That's 49 red Russian garlic cloves in from 8 bulbs from my friend Monica. And we'll just go back and cover these up. And I'll come back and I'll give these a soaking with some water and maybe a little bit of, I probably will give them a little bit of C-stem from Advancing Eco Agriculture. C-stem will help them build immunity and be a little more cold tolerant, and also will help them get germinated and get started early. We're very late. Usually we would like to plant in like mid to end of September, as late as middle of October for garlic to really have a good jump on the season before we go into winter. We don't have that option here, so we're going to do what we can do. One of the cool things about going in this planter like this is I can gather up these oak leaves that are around me and use that as my mulch. And oak leaves make an excellent, excellent mulch. Also, I didn't get to show you this on camera, but in here as I was digging and stirring this up with a shovel before I added the Coast of Maine soil, there was a nice selection of worms through here. So we have good soil base to get started from, and that should give us a good jump start to get our garlic seed going again for the new farm. I haven't put any mulch down on it yet because I actually want to see it germinate before I do that. And given that it's black plastic, it'll get sun most of the day. Even though it's winter, that'll help warm it up, hopefully help those germinate. In the meantime, to prevent squirrel issues, moles, voles, all that sort of stuff, I'm putting this 1/4-inch mesh over it. I'm going to do a couple of pieces of oak firewood and lay down just to hold it in place. We'll keep that there until they get established and they get out of squirrel danger. All right, that's pretty much it. I'll probably gather some leaves up and put on here. I might show you a clip of that I might not. I might just show you next video. I hope you found this interesting and informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. And remember, you always reap what you sow. Now let's go feed Chino and Phylicia a carrot. Because they're really You think somebody might be excited for some carrots? Hiya, Chino. Hi, Phylicia. Would you like some carrots? Would you like some tasty carrots? Here you go, Phylicia. I haven't given these guys a carrot treat in a couple weeks, so... Ooh, ready to take my finger off, huh, Chino? Here you go, Phylicia. You're so greedy, Chino. You're so greedy. Yeah. I gotta make sure you don't get my finger. Because you'll take my finger right off. I know you will. And Phylicia's a little more gentle than you are, huh? You're just a greedy horse. That's it. I'm out of carrots. That's it, man. It's over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all I got. They're good though, aren't they? Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys look good in your jackets. That's all we got. That's it. That's it. We're out. We're out. I'll give you a pat on the head. I'll give you a pat on the nose. Yeah. That's it. We're out. Cheers.